Okay.
Yep.
Okay. There. Okay. I'll just do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay. What do you mean? You ask. Theory struck. Wait, was that Konoe?
No, that was you.
Okay, he was repeating the question.
Because it was supposed to be an I, and you said you, and just kind of rolled with it.
What do I mean? Oh, what do I mean? You asked. Okay, whatever.
You see the quotation because, like, you know, Konoe was like, well, "What do you mean?" And you're like, "What do you mean?" You ask, like,
"What do I mean?" You asked. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Here he shrugged.
Don't get around. How much do you know? Tell me everything.
Nah, won't it be boring if I just told you? Life is more fun when there's highs and lows.
Nah, man. Nah. I ain't gonna do that.
Oh my gosh, that was so random. Okay. Your beloved ancestors were the toucans, yes? There was multiple toucans? Anyway.
His name was Toucans because he had, like, legs that were...
But it says your ancestors were the toucans. I don't know.
Maybe he means ancestors by, like, you have, like, your mother's mother, or your father's father, like, the people before you were descendants of the Toucans.
I guess so. Okay, yes. Weren't they like that too? Even though they feared and suffered, they still traveled to dangerous places and fought. Right now, you're full of mysteries. You don't know what to do, but go ahead and worry, suffer, struggle. Someone is interested in watching you. Oh, that's nice to know.
Watching me?
That's right, always watching you. Gosh,
so much watching me.
Oh my gosh. Someone was watching him. Konoe shivered. A trial. Think of it as a trial.
A trial?
That's right, a trial. Please. Oh, please him to the utmost. If you don't, you might just die.
Him? Him who?
The person that's watching him.
What do you mean? Hey!
Theory kicked off the ground before Konoe finished speaking and jumped into a high branch behind him. He put a hand on his chest and theoretically lowered his head. I only came to raise the curtain on this stage. Konoe, it's been a pleasure. See you.
Wait! Huh?
Konoe followed him and began to climb up a tree. However, Theory's body rose into the air. He's flying! Theory twirled elegantly and curled his tail, then vanished into thin air. Well, okay. Konoe stared at the shaking branch in disbelief. Konoe, that's what he called him. Theory knew his name. His enemy knew about him. Well, how do you know what the enemy is? Okay. Well, he said... Okay.
Well, he's certainly not a friend!
Well, that's all he said. He said, well, I'm not a friend. But this doesn't mean he's an enemy, you know?
Well...
It could be neutral ground.
I certainly wouldn't put him on, like, the colleague level. I'm gonna throw that one out there.
It was like someone was leading him by the hand through the series of events. His anger rose.
Shit, sorry. It was quotation marks. My bad. Keep going.
Entertain him? What a joke. Why did he have to go through this? For what reason? Why? Oh my gosh, he just, like, hit the floor. Konoe gritted his teeth and raked his nails against the ground with all his might. He's gonna destroy his nails.
I know, right?
He didn't know why he was giving in to his anger, but he was unable to contain himself. He raised his arms and clawed fiercely at the surrounding trees. Someone's just gonna walk by and be like, oh, dang, something went down.
Well, fuck, okay then, sorry, man.
He wanted to tear it all apart.
Could you imagine, like, you touched the bracelet too? Whoa, man! Like, I totally don't get it either!
Oh my god.
Damn it!
Whenever his nails dug into the trunks, he felt an indescribable emptiness in his heart.
So then don't do the nail thingy.
Konoe wanted to tear apart that emptiness.
Okay, totally unrelated, but I see too much of my cat in Kanoe. Or the opposite way, I don't know. But my cat will, like, scratch up everything. Not like a couch or whatever, she's pretty good, like, not doing furniture. But, like, we've had to go through... I don't know. I'm buying, like, a ton scratching posts for her. But she's just, like, it's funny, though, because she'll, like, go to one, and she's just, like... and just, like, run off, and another one to, like, in the other room. She's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna rip up everything.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just...
Maybe she has emptiness in her heart.
I don't know, Ugiora is just, like, super mean. And just, it's either... a scratching post, or it's the dog. Ukiora is just hateful.
Gosh.
I love her to death, but Ukiora is like, she's a bitch. Anyways, back to that. We got like just in the you know, damn it, shut up, you know, don't talk to me. Like oh my god, that's Ukiora. Like that's what we get.
He clawed at the trunks and tore the leaves. Those poor leaves. They're just like, oh no. After raging for a while, rage quit. Oh! Oh my gosh. He finally stopped. He crouched down and breathed roughly.
I gotta sit in the chair now so whenever the scratches I can go.
Kanoe's heartbeat had slowed down, but he was assaulted by intense self-loathing instead. There wasn't at any point in being so violent. It was useless.
Can you explain that to my cat?
It was unforgivable. Even if it was just some coincidence, he needed to settle this. But Kanoe knew it wasn't so. You're just staring at me.
Yeah, you're just like,
wasn't
gonna
so.
dance, yeah!
Wasn't so. There was someone responsible for his hopeless situation. He didn't know if it was that boy, Fury. If it was telling the truth or lies, but he knew that someone else was involved. Until now, he had resolved to leave his hometown and nearly died. So then, he wouldn't forgive anyone involved in this. Noe sighed and looked down at his hands. His nails were torn because of his temper. Yep,
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because when Ukiora will do that too, like she'll get like really mad and she'll scratch everything. Get to the point where it's like, yo girl, yo nails. So we had to like put little booties on her. And she was so small that I actually had to like make them because like we would go to the store and like went to the vet and everything. We're like, she needs to stop clawing shit because she's just angry all the time. They're like, we don't have anything small enough for her.
Oh.
I was like, okay, so I like crocheted like little booties. Oh my god, they were so cute, and they were gone once her nails grew back.
Oh my god.
She was just like, ah!
Dang.
Yeah, but she's adorable. Dang. She's an adorable little hellion. It's just.
Oh gosh.
And the dogs. Oh my god, the dogs like made fun of her. Like not actually like, oh my god, he looks so adorable. Like, just like the dogs would constantly, because she couldn't like run really fast. The dogs would like poke her. They would like go to her and they would like nudge her leg and she would bop them. And they're like, we can't feel any claws.
Oh. Wow.
And now she's kind of learned like she needs to stop tearing her nails out. So now she just like, okay, my nails are good. She's like, you know what? Scratch the dog.
Oh wow.
And yeah, but sometimes they're just like.
He looked over his hand to soothe it. As he did so, Kanoe remembered the emptiness he felt when he ragged a while ago. Raged a while ago, ragged. After all, he couldn't do anything but move forward. If he stayed and let his anger fester, nothing would change. There was no other choice but to keep living. It was a feeling unlike surrendering. No, not long ago he would have thought of this as giving up. But something had changed in Kanoe. He wanted to discover the true nature of the person driving him into this. He would find him and tear him apart with his claws and fangs. Therefore, he had no choice but to move forward, even if he might fail. Feeling a new flame burn inside him, Kanoe stood up. He cast his eye on the pendant.
Okay, an unrelated note. I'm excited to see more cat boys because I want to see if I can relate them to my own cats.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm actually super excited.
Wow.
Because if there's like a really absent-minded, kind of stupid one, my cat Aries. There's like an old grumpy one. That's Spot, and I'm super excited.
Oh
for
my
that.
gosh. He grabbed it by the chain and looked at it at eye level.
Didn't we just say stop touching stuff?
After seeing the memory, he didn't want to handle it carelessly. He's handling it with care. He's like, okay, make sure not to actually touch it. Noah quietly put the pendant near the bracelet. He cast his eyes between the two. When he saw the memory of the bracelet, Kanoe felt a presence of someone in agony. The presence was fresh. Maybe the person had been here recently. Not even a day seemed to have passed since it had been tossed aside. He'd touch it once more. That was the thought that crossed his mind. Even though there would be agony once more, just thinking about it made his eyes lower. Maybe he'd find some clues. Ears lower, but maybe. But after hesitating, well, that sentence still worked. Anyways, after hesitating, Kanoe took a small breath and made up his mind. He held out his hand out to the bracelet. No, we just told you to stop touching things. His trembling fingertip touched the surface slightly. His heart raced. He felt himself being pulled back into the whirlpool of torture.
So then don't touch it! Oh my god. There we go.
Putting a hand against the tree trunk to support his body, Kanoe concentrated on the image that began to form in his mind. The green light scattered, and the image cleared bit by bit.
Oh,
Something like clothing was reflected in the edge of his vision. This presence, it was definitely a cat.
how can you tell that? Like, I imagine that this is a tree and this is, like, fruits and shit. And that might be, like, a cattail. Like, I don't see...
Yeah, I don't see anything.
I don't see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Something like clothing was, well, yeah. This present was definitely a cat on the move. Yeah. Before long, a small puddle entered his field of vision. It was the place Kanoe was now.
I'm like,
He's there
trying
now.
to think, like, if you do this one... No, that made it, like,
Yeah,
so
that
much
made
worse.
worse.
Okay.
Then the image of a large bag appeared. He couldn't see it clearly, but it seemed to be filled with lots of different things.
Yeah,
The image shifted in and out of the bag several times. Then the view moved slightly. Then he saw the ground. For an instant, he saw something like the hem of a coat. Something chased him, but the memory was cut off.
And I couldn't see any of that. Yeah.
He let go of the bracelet. Kanoe exhaled when he was freed from the pain. He raised his head and looked back at the puddle. The owner of the bracelet seemed to have passed through here. He should go that way too.
No.
You're immediately like, no. Don't do it.
Bad idea.
Kanoe lifted his bag and began to walk after checking the position of the moon of light. Boop-a-doop-a-doo, on the road again. On the road again. Kanoe threaded through the grove. From there, the scenery continued on and on, just like a maze. The moon of light had set and colored the clouds red. Look red. And the moon of shadow floated in the sky. As night fell, he started to worry that he'd been walking in circles. Have to keep going straight.
Had to go follow where the guy was going. Now you're lost.
Oh. Once lost, you would never leave. He knew what they had meant now. Oh my gosh.
Oh, back in the tree.
As Kanoe walked carefully to avoid the void, he saw a large tree ahead.
Wait, is it a different tree?
Maybe. Its trunk was larger than those of the other trees, and its roots sprawled over the ground. It looks like it was a good place to rest. Yeah, it's a different tree. He felt his tail had been hounded with fatigue, and thought that soon the rest of his body would be too. Kanoe debated whether or not he should rest or not, but feeling like he was just recklessly advancing, he decided to rest among the roots for tonight. Approaching the tree, Kanoe sat down to hide himself. He breathed in the cool night air and exhaled slowly. If Kanoe listened carefully in silence, he could hear odd cries and noises. A scent of moist earth rose strongly from beneath his feet. He didn't know what could happen next. Kanoe dozed off until morning came and scanned the surroundings with his ears. The second morning in the forest, Kanoe's body creaked when he stood up. He scrunched his body into awkward positions, so he didn't feel rested. He slowly lifted himself from the base of the tree roots. He had a faint headache, but he stretched out and shook it off. Shook it off.
Wish I could shake off a headache.
Shook it off. After he finished grooming his arms, ears, and tail, Kanoe I was about to say shook it off again. Kanoe took out a flask from his drawstring bag and drank some water. And they took some of the dried grass roots. I think he already did eat the Qums. Dang. He was thirsty, but he didn't feel very hungry. It was probably due to his anxiety. Kanoe began to walk through the forest, carefully weaving through the fog after checking the position of the moon of light.
I feel like he need to change his voice to angry.
Well, you kind of already have it like that. It's more like aloof angriness. How much further to Ronson? Moreover, Kanoe wondered if his pursuer from Karo had Karo had entered the forest. As he continued onwards, held these uneasy thoughts in the back of his mind. I'm starting to lose it. As he walked, Kanoe marked the tree trunks with his claws. Can't someone follow him?
Yeah.
All too soon, the moon of light climbed just above him. He sighed a little and stopped.
Why?
Suddenly, he felt a presence. Kanoe's ears perked. Someone was there, and they were not alone. There was the sound of branches being tread on and the sound of clothes rustling. The air vibrated, confirming a presence. 2, 3, maybe more. Maybe he was surrounded. They were watching him. Bandits. Several rough breaths overlapped and echoed through the trees. Kanoe backed up to a tree, lowering his stance and moving a hand down to the sword at his waist. Between the gaps of deep green, several shadows came into sight. Above them all, an especially large shadow shook with laughter.
Young.
Hairball.
It was funny because my hair actually did go into my mouth. So. What's a youngster like you doing this? It's 4 east, and I'm 4 east, what? In this forest. It's really dangerous for guys or gals to be traveling alone.
As if amused by those words, the surrounding shadows all laughed at once. Their coarse voices.
Oh, their coarse voices.
Their coarse voices shook the plants. As the group of shadows glared at him, Kanoe snorted, sorted out his thoughts. When he glanced around, he saw about 10 of them. He could take them on, but only if they attacked him one by one. All the shadows were large, but they seemed to be quick too, so they had an advantage. Kanoe felt something strange about the scene before him. Shadows hiding in the trees crawled towards him little by little.
Huh?
Seeing the cats surrounding him, Kanoe gasped.
Oh god.
Oh.
I don't want to see him. His sideburn things are oh god, okay. You made him gasp?
They were definitely bandit cats. They squared their shoulders, eyes shining with laughter. Gosh. But something was wrong. There was a strange, indescribable heat swirling around them. Instantly, the hair all over his body stood on end. Chills ran through them. Him. This was bad. The signs of his empathy. He couldn't control it. The feeling flowed slowly into Kanoe's heart. Just like the tongue of a serpent.
Oh, God. Maybe with like every snake that he has inside him, they're supposed to represent different emotions, so his empathy is more like.
That's what I said before, remember? That's what I said!
But what's the green snake?
I don't know, maybe it's empathy.
God.
Suddenly, a ferocious torrent of emotions pierced the wall of his self-control and spread into his chest. His teeth clenched and his knees buckled. If he couldn't start breathing again, he'd die. Even as he thought this, the intense emotions rose. He's just having a fit and these people were just like, what?
What's going on here?
No, it was different. Something really was wrong. Many lights exploded in the back of his eyes and disappeared. Intense delusions, vivid images. No, I didn't understand whose face it was, but it was warped with hatred, and he was pulled into a vortex. Bandits surrounded Kanoe and collapsed, laughing their vulgar laughter. The density of the emotions increased, and his thoughts flickered violently over and over again. Oh, there's lights. At that moment, a shadow flashed through Kanoe's mind. It moved smoothly, meandering left and right.
Like a snake!
There were traces of glossy snails. Snails, yeah, it was a serpent with snails. A green snake from his dream.
It would make it, like, I think, a lot less creepier if it was snails.
The escargot. He was thinking back to that from now. He was thinking back to that now for some reason. There was something there, he thought. There was something here. Oh, there was something here, he thought. There was something here other than the bandits. But Kanoe's thoughts were interrupted. That guy.
Is it that guy?
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the bandits raised his axe and pounced at Kanoe. He rolled to the side at once, evading the blow. The axe stuck into the ground. He heard a dull sound. Another blow swung at him from behind, and he jumped.
Sorry.
Some of the hairs on his tail were cut off as the axe bore into the ground. Another blow swung at him from behind, and he jumped. With no time to think, Kanoe ran. Diving, he escaped the circle of this bandit's siege. Once they realized that their prey had disappeared, they slowly turned their bodies and faced Kanoe's direction. Their thirst for blood increased even more. Several low growls overlapped and crept across the earth. Kanoe felt a strong pain and thought their feelings of terrible anger were crushing his chest, like they were tearing him apart. In the corner of his mind, the snake undulated its body and laughed, its tongue flickering.
What does that even mean? Hold on, you keep reading, I'm gonna look that up.
His knees weakened as he desperately tried to endure it. If this kept up, he wouldn't be able to move. He swallowed the agony and ran to escape from the bandits. He dashed out of the way of the roughly planned stone sword flashing across his view. Wait, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Then he kicked his heel at the chin of a bandit cat who grabbed his tail.
Okay, so it means to move with the smooth wave-like motion.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so kind of like the duh. I didn't. Wow. Okay. Learned some stuff.
Yep. The cat moans and the cat moaned and growled behind him as Kanoe ran as fast as he could. Where was he running? In the direction of the moon of light? There was no time to check. How far would the bandits chase him? Noe's heart was beating so fast that he thought it would explode. Noe was much farther, faster than they, but the anger he felt the bandits pierced his heart, pierced his chest painfully. I haven't had enough sleep. Okay. For that reason, Kanoe wasn't able to shake them off. He felt as though he had no strength. It took everything he had to evade their blows. His body was suddenly roughly pulled from behind. Something had grabbed his tail. He had to get out of there, but soon Kanoe heard heavy breathing behind him. He was surely beginning to slow down. He felt a dull pain in his arm. The cat chasing him from behind had grazed him with his claws. The cat that had chased and grabbed Kanoe recklessly lunged at him with his claws. He was barely able to evade the attack and was starting to run out of breath. Kanoe didn't have time to draw his sword. His timing was spot on as he slipped past each blow. Kanoe aimed for the short interval between the swingings of the opponent's arms to launch his own attacks. He turned his right foot and twisted his upper body, relying on the force of the drawn claws of his right hand. His opponent cried out in anguish as a spray of deep red blood gushed from his face. Noe's claws tore into the flesh of his eyes to his nose. Oh dang. The cat clutching his face disappeared from sight. He took a short rest for a moment, but the other cats were still coming after him. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
My one dog licked her butt. She was like, hell no! And she like,
oh my gosh.
and his nose started to bleed. And he was like, hi. I'm like, these cats don't like their butt licked.
No.
Like, chill, Devin. Dude.
With traces of blood still covering his right hand, Kanoe sprinted off. The muscles of his legs ached, and his feet hurt. His body ached in other places too, places he didn't even stop to consider. Still, he ran. His restless breathing echoed in the depths of his ears. As the wind swept past his cheeks, he immediately started to feel heavy. His feet staggered as he stepped heavily to the ground. The searing pain pierced his heart. Unable to control them, his feet became tangled. Noe tripped over a raised tree root and fell onto his side. As he tried to get up, he became alarmed. Noe heard the sound of breathing nearby. It wasn't from behind him, it was beside him. Oh my god. Bandit cats approached him from the trees, murderous smiles twisting their lips. One of them raised a stone axe, but then
What?
a shadow flew by and the bandit fell as if he were blown back. Finally! Finally! It's a Rao character!
Oh!
It's a Rao character!
Oh
Finally!
God, okay.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
Ooh.
let's get ready. Okay. Gotta stretch
Yeah.
out. Gotta get going. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Get ready to touch these butts. Okay. It felt like it was happening in slow motion.
And there he goes.
Ah! Screams rent the air, one after another. Kanoe stopped and looked behind him. The bandit cats behind him had fallen with their eyes rolled back in their heads. They convulsed as bloody froth emitted from their mouths. When he looked closer, he could see a straight red line sliced across their necks. One cat was going to attack Kanoe from the right. The long sword pierced their body. The figure seemed to have jumped away, was completely helpless. His tongue lolled out of his mouth. Then suddenly a single stream of blood trickled down. Guts. It felt like time had stopped. Standing in front of the dumbstruck and frozen Kanoe was the back of a cat he'd never seen before. He wasn't abandoned. He had long, silver-white hair with small, rounded ears and a thick, bushy tail. Oh, bushy tail. He looked like he was a descendant of a line of large Rubika. In both hands he wielded a sword, one of which was buried into the bandit's body. When the silver-haired cat drew his sword out of the body, he flicked the blood off it and slowly looked over his shoulder.
Oh.
Is that a good O or a bad O?
He's gonna be this kind of guy. Like the too cool for you, sir. The unnecessarily tight shirt that like clearly sculpts his body in the best way.
Yeah, he basically, like, looking at his design, he basically has like a full bodysuit. It's like weird. And he has like thigh-high boots. And I'm just like, how do you put this on?
No, thigh-high boots are like amazing, okay?
But he has the full-on bodysuit and then he has the thigh-high boots.
I'm not saying like that makes sense. But thigh-high boots are amazing. You've never lived until you wear thigh-high boots. It's great. And you just feel like what he would feel. Like, hell yeah. I'm gonna watch me walk down this road. That's right, be worried.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
A blue eye pierced through Kanoe. His heart leapt. The silver-haired cat had only one eye. The other eye was covered in an eye patch. But when the moonlight shone through the foliage, and that one eye still reflected a strong and quiet light. Instantly, Kanoe forgot all about his vigilance. Silver hair swayed subtly in the breeze.
I'd like to point out I do not have a cat like this.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, here we go. I don't know the other rap characters though, so I don't know like who I want. Well, look, Dave's makes it look like being like, what's going on here? Like, nah, man, like.
Is that his face?
You know the rap characters, so I don't know.
What do you want to do? Well, I don't know which one we're going for. We're just like kind of doing it right now. Like until we meet all of them.
Yeah, then I guess we could just do like the neutral one, because this one's like, yo, my goodness, you're so pretty.
I guess.
Meow.
If we wanted to look dazed, like be like, what the butts just happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Hello.
The cat with silver hair looked back immediately. There were many shadows following now from the path he'd come running down. Oh darn it, is he being followed? The pain that faded away in Kanoe's chest now came back again. He began to feel those empathetic feelings again, tearing through his clothes. Kanoe thought that he wouldn't be able to tolerate it any further. While he clenched his teeth in despair, the silver-haired cat began to rush forward. Do you want to be, or do we want to be?
Yeah, I don't know, you seemed really excited when he popped up.
Oh, okay.
You can go. You go do you. We'll actually go do him, but.
Okay. Go. Wasn't deep enough. I need to try harder. I need to try harder next time. The faint, low voice swept past Kanoe's ears. A flash of silver passed, as if he were in a daydream. The white tails streaming behind him, the figure ran through the deep greenery and took on the bandits all on his own.
Oh! So this is the guy that, like, at the very beginning when you open up the game, little, like, tails or whatever,
yeah.
the stream across? Oh, so that's him!
Yeah, this is the one with the fluffy tail.
Oh! Okay.
Fluffy tail one. Kanoe watched the scene in utter amazement. The bandit cat in the lead cried out and threw himself on the silver-haired cat. Red blood spewed in the air. The bandit cat's body collapsed without a sound. He went on like made up his mind about this from the beginning, without any doubt or hesitation. This unknown silver cat. Who was he? Above all that, why was he drawn to the swordsman? Kanoe was attracted by something.
Yep, that's the whole point.
But he shouldn't be admiring him right now. Go. It was certainly what that cat had said. Start crawling! Kanoe turned around at once and began to run the other way. Isn't that the way you came? Oh, whatever. Kanoe obeyed the words of the silver-haired cat as if he'd been enchanted.
Well, that's the whole point of having a route character. So. But God! Okay, so this is the end of the video, but finally!
We met one.
Yeah, we met one.
Out of 3.
It took so long! We're like 9 episodes in now! It took so long! But yeah, so that's... You don't know his name yet, right? Yeah.
I don't know his name yet. I know his name, but...
Oh, well, I don't know his name! I know nothing about this, so... But yeah, so that's it. So we're gonna figure out what else is going on. See if Kanoe doesn't get hurt in the next video, because it seems like every single time he's gonna get attacked by something.
Oh my gosh.
Whether it's a snake, a bandit, a weird jewelry piece. Something always seems to hurt him. But anyways, we're all gonna go to sleep now, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.